So it seems like when I share my real life experiences with you and I am just being who I am in the moment, that this seems to be useful for you. And so I would like to do a little bit of that today. And so here I am, not knowing what I'm going to talk about yet. I have had lots of different experiences in my life, many, and learnt a lot through my own therapeutic journey, which has spanned many years. I am not afraid or ashamed to say I have therapy. I love therapy. I can't get enough therapy. And my very first session of therapy, which was a very long time ago, maybe 30 years, was very, very painful. It was, in fact, awful. Let's talk about this. So I went to see a counsellor a very long time ago, locally to me. Didn't know who she was. Apparently she was qualified and all of that. And I remember taking a seat and sharing just how painful my life was right then. I was in a very abusive relationship. And there was no way that person would have come with me to this session. And I was trying to just share why I was there. And it took quite a while, and it took a lot of crying, because I was not someone who opened up. I didn't share, I didn't open up, I didn't tell anybody anything that was going on. You know, I was trained, conditioned as a child not to tell, so I kept people's secrets very well, and I was a really good listener. And this might be the same for you. You might be a very good listener, but you don't share who you are. So there I sat for a good 30 minutes, crying, weeping, trying to explain how painful and difficult and trapped I was in this relationship, and clearly asking for help. I was clearly asking for help. And she said, you know, all you've done today is sit and cry, and you've cried a lot, and it's really difficult for me to be able to help you because I don't really know what you want. You just sit there and cry. So I think you're going to have a think about what it is you want. And if you would like to come back and tell me properly without tears why you're here and what you want. Oh my fucking goddess. This was awful. This was one of the worst experiences ever. So I'd spent 20 something years gagged, not able to speak, not sharing anything. And the day that I finally share something, I'm criticised. All you do is sit and cry. What else could I do? The impact of letting just a little, I didn't tell her a lot, didn't tell her very much at all actually, told her about the struggles in the here and now with this particular person. And of course that mirrored so much from way back, so much just went over the top of her head. So I felt stupid, that I'd wasted my time and money, I'd wasted her time, and that she had had a very hard time with me. Just a silly, emotional girl. That was one of the most painful experiences I've had going for counselling. But you know, I didn't go back, and I did keep looking for others. until I found the right person. And I really do think it's important for us to shop around, because just because somebody says, you know, they've got this qualification, they've done this many hours, and they've got these many years experience, it means nothing. It really does mean nothing, including whichever theoretical model they use. What's the most important thing for me is the relationship. The relationship that we can form with that person. It's so important. It's so, so important. And to acknowledge somebody who's finally come to seek help, to share, offload some of what's been going on for them, which is incredible data for the person who's listening. That's incredible data. There's so much rich data there for the therapist to soak up and hear and see and feel, and getting the right person for the job, to be there with you, to connect and love you whilst you work through whatever it is you bring, and to really, really hear and see with much more, what is that? It's like a very, very deep, sophisticated approach to seeing and hearing. It goes way, way above and beyond just seeing and hearing. That's what I needed back then. I needed somebody who would truly see the pain that I was in. And I was in physical pain as well. I was in so much pain. It was torture. And I had no idea what I needed. I didn't know what counselling was about. I just knew that this person was supposed to be able to support me and help me. So, yeah, what's this all about? Shopping around for the very, very best therapist that you need for you, and not settling just because they say they've got this qualification or that many whatevers. That is fucking irrelevant. They need to be a very particular kind of person, a very, very particular kind of person with incredible insight and lots of knowledge and lots of experience, so that they could truly be there with you in it, right there alongside of you, almost with their, hand around your shoulders to let you know they understand, they hear, they see, and they're willing to be in it and not say, you just show up and cry. This is no good for me, I can't work with this. She might as well have said that. I went away that day very ashamed and feeling like a failure. And funnily enough, I've been feeling like a failure for quite some time. And having somebody give me that message when I already felt like a failure is not going to be very good for my self-esteem or my confidence or my resilience. It's going to make me plummet further. So when we connect with someone, we really need it to be the very best kind of someone. So shop around. If you're going looking for a therapist, you need to see them and feel them and be with them and fucking test them. Test them and just see how it goes. It can be very interesting. So there's a little story from my life. And I wonder if any of this resonates for you. I wonder what kind of experiences you've had if you've gone along to see a therapist, a counsellor, psychotherapist, psychologist. There's loads of practitioners out there. There are millions of practitioners out there. But finding that one for you is very, very, very important. And so if you'd like to share your experiences of going for therapy, please do. I'd love to hear. I'd love to connect. And, your experience is your experience, and nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can say, well, actually, you're wrong. Just as I was wrong for crying. How you show up and how you experience somebody is very valid. It's your experience, and no one can say anything different. They can have their opinion, as we all can, but it doesn't mean you're wrong and they're right. Sometimes we are just not a good fit for each other, and then we need to say goodbye and go looking for somebody else and test the waters. Test the waters. You know, it needs to be the right depth, it needs to be the right temperature. So let's talk in the comments, share your experiences, I'd love to hear, and share anything you'd like to say, that's fine, just share with me, I'd like to connect with you. Okay, thank you for listening and watching.